Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, I will be giving my commentary on the Wendy Williams documentary. I'm going to talk about the bank's boundaries. I kind of feel like they definitely have gone to the extreme. And The Guardian, we're going to take a look at who she is. She obviously has her guard way up, and I'm going to give my thoughts on Wendy Williams, so-called manager, and the publicist. Now, of course, everything that I'll be saying in this video is alleged and my opinion. And if you have not already checked out the documentary, you can watch it for free at Lifetime's website. I believe it's mylifetime.com. And you can just click on the Wendy Williams documentary, and there's two episodes. The third episode aired tonight on Lifetime. Sunday, February 25th is the third episode, but you can watch them for free on Lifetime's website. One thing that I appreciate about the Lifetime network, even if you prefer to watch everything online on your MacBook or your laptop, you can just go on their website and watch for free. They have everything. Every episode of Dance Moms, if you're like me and you adore that show, the Janet Jackson documentary, all of their Lifetime content is on their website. So definitely go there and watch the Wendy Williams documentary if you have not already done so. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, most of these images are from the documentary itself. Her son, Kevin Jr., he has combed out his locks since then, and he wears like a natural afro, but this commentary will be on the first two episodes of the documentary. Now, Wendy still does not have access to her money that's held at Wells Fargo. Obviously, Wendy Williams has placed her money in at least two different financial institutions because she definitely still has some money. She's making purchases, including alcohol. And we're going to get more into that in a moment when I talk about her manager and her publicist. Now, right now, Wendy Williams' family has not seen Wendy. So obviously, they've been filming this documentary going back to 2022. And I believe when they did the interviews, like with Kevin Jr., I believe that was in early 2023 or sometime where he said that he hadn't seen her in about 8 months. They do talk on the phone, but he has not physically seen her. Kevin Jr., of course, lives in Florida, and Wendy has been back in New York ever since the New York Supreme Court ruled that a guardian should manage Wendy's money and Wendy's affairs. So she's been living back in New York, and they talk on the phone, but they have not seen each other. That would give me anxiety just knowing that your mom is sick and you cannot physically see her. So that's a shame that Kevin has to deal with that. And he's so young. He's still in undergrad. He's still under the age of 25. So he is definitely dealing with a lot right now. Now, Wendy actually does get frustrated with Kevin Jr. because when she was in Florida, when she spent some time with him in Florida, according to him and his cousin, her nephew Travis, Wendy was eating plant-based foods. She was not drinking alcohol. She was more coherent. And so they felt like she was stronger health-wise. And then once she, court it resumed, she was back in New York. Then, she was able to eat and drink whatever she wanted. And then, they could see like a decline, allegedly, in her health. Now, as far as her diet and her not drinking, that seems to be the only source of tension between Wendy and Kevin Jr. I think more so on Wendy's part, she gets frustrated when he does not want her drinking alcohol or eating. Now, I'm sorry, or eating, meat and dairy. So there was a point when she learned that she was getting a guardian. She said, well, give me liquor and a Whopper. So that obviously would be the opposite of what Kevin Jr. would have wanted her to eat. So that seems to be the only source of tension between this mother and son. But back to Wendy's money. So of course, we all have heard of elder abuse, financial abuse. banks, financial institutions, they do have a responsibility to report even suspicions of elder abuse or financial abuse. And it appears from the documentary, allegedly, that Wells Fargo took issue with how family members was spending Wendy Williams' money. There were transactions like 120,000 spent on a party for Kevin Jr. Also, there was allegedly $100,000 spent on Uber Eats that the bank found to be questionable. I feel like 100,000 on Uber Eats, that had to have been Kevin Jr. throwing parties, and not just one party. I would hope a few parties, and he relied on Uber Eats to provide the food. That's literally me trying to make sense of such astronomical transactions. We all know that about a year ago, or several months to a year ago, it was reported in the news that there was a no longer paying of a monthly rent of $80,000 per month for a condo for Kevin Jr. to live in down in Florida. And it was because, obviously, according to The Guardian, in her opinion, allegedly, from what it appears, she took issue with that expense. Now, definitely supporters of Wendy Williams are divided on the issue. Some people feel like because Kevin Jr. grew up as a rich kid, it makes sense for him to be used to living in a home that has a monthly rent of $80,000. The Guardian, who has been appointed by New York State Supreme Court, obviously, it appears, does not agree with that. Now, do we all believe that he could live in a safe neighborhood down in Florida and still live in a very nice condo for cheaper rent than $80,000 a month? A lot of us assume yes. But, some people say, how can you tell this kid how to live? So what if you find that extravagant? That's what he's used to. So people are divided. But obviously, a judge has placed that judgment in the hands of the Guardian. And what I will say is that I do believe that everything should have balance. And I believe that Wells Fargo and the Guardian, in my opinion, they're on one extreme. Even if you find that Kevin Jr. spending $80,000 a month in rent, $100,000 on Uber Eats is very extreme, totally cutting off the young man off of money that his mother is willing to spend on him, that is extreme as well. I believe that there should be some balance. And I believe that Kevin Jr. should be able to go before a judge and contest the Guardian and say, hey, I need something. And then the Guardian should do research and say, okay, well, his college is here. We looked within a 10-mile radius for convenience. And these are the safest neighborhoods. And this is the ongoing rent. I factored in utilities, groceries, insurance, and even entertainment. Here's the budget or whatever. Here's 25,000 a month or 50,000 a month, whatever. Like, she should at least come up with some sort of budget that is also within a very luxurious lifestyle to which he has become accustomed to. That is definitely what I think. But I want to know what you all think. Do you think that 80,000 a month in rent and 100,000 on Uber Eats is just ridiculous? And do you feel like there's nothing wrong with him having a budget? Or do you just go totally tough cop on him? You agree with the Guardian, cut him off. I don't think a lot of y'all are going to agree with the Guardian on cutting him off. Do you think it's totally okay for him to pay the 80,000 a month in rent and 100,000 on Uber Eats? So now I want to go ahead and talk about her team here. So we have Will Selby. He is Wendy Williams' manager. And in this middle picture, so the lady who's all the way to the right with this, not all the way to the right, but in the middle picture, it's 4 people. We have Wendy, her manager, Will, the lady to the right with the salt and pepper hair. She's like Wendy's stylist. And then the lady who's to the left of Will, that is Sean Zanotti. She is Wendy's publicist. So I have a couple of things that I want to say about Will and about Sean, the publicist. Number one, if you were watching the documentary, Sean was the runner for Wendy in terms of going into one of those vaping stores and looking for Wendy's favorite line of vapes. I don't vape, so I'm not familiar, but Wendy's short term memory was so weak. She could not remember that the young lady had just gone into the vaping store and brought her her line of vaping products. And then Wendy wanted to drive past the studio where she used to film her show, and now the awning says Sherry Shepherd. They were driving past it, y'all, and Wendy would forget that they just did those two things. And she would say, and this isn't it. Why would you give me this? This isn't my vaping. Go to that store. We didn't go. And then she would say, none of this looks familiar to me. I don't even remember being here. Then she would say, now go towards my show. Go take me by my show. And like they literally just did it. So they did that like quite a few times because her short-term memory was so weak. And then at one point, Wendy is sitting in the back seat. She's like, do you all want to just like order alcohol in? She was like, do you want champagne? And the publicist, Sean, said yes. And I was thinking like, no, why don't you just say to her, you know what? No, I'm just going to cut back. I think I'm just going to get like bottled water or maybe just get me like some juice. She was just like, yeah, yeah. And then the Lifetime producer actually asked Sean, again, that's the publicist with the curly hair, do you think that she has a drinking problem? And the publicist was like, no. Like if she has a drink, like she can put it down. And I mean, my antennas just went up because, I mean, some people may say that she is a publicist. So she is trying to keep a positive narrative out there about Wendy, even if that means she's going to not tell the truth. But at the same time, it gives shady. It makes the Wendy Williams supporters not want to trust her because it's like, how could you ignore the fact that there seems to be some sort of issue, in my opinion? So when she was like, oh no, like if she has a drink, she can put it down. It just really gave off a really weird energy, like an untrustworthy energy. Then she has her manager, Will. At minimum on camera, he at least tries to say he feels like she has a problem. He wants her to be healthier. There was a scene where they were at a restaurant. He gets up and walks away and says to the bartender, can you make her a virgin drink? Like whatever she asks for, make the virgin part of it. I'm hoping that 24/7, when the cameras are down, that he is just as consistent with making sure she's not getting the liquor. Somebody is supplying her with it because, I mean, she ain't driving herself anywhere. So, I don't know. Now, he definitely has like that swag, that roughneck persona. Shout out to Kempire. When he recapped the documentary, he said perhaps in Wendy's mind, Will reminds her of her ex-husband, Kevin Sr. I think that that's definitely very plausible. I'm sure that that will be a comfort zone for her. But I just feel like what currently is Wendy Williams working on? She no longer has her talk show, unfortunately. It's not like she's written a book and she has to promote it. She's not producing any more films for Lifetime. You all may have seen her niece Alex's interview on The View, where she said that this documentary now fulfills Wendy Williams' contractual obligations to the Lifetime network with producing content. So like if she's not working on anything herself currently, what does she really need a manager for? So I just get like very negative energy when I think about this so-called team. And now ultimately, when it comes to Wendy Williams, I do feel like when her husband cheated and produced the baby, she wanted to have more children. Unfortunately, that did not happen. And then for the mistress to give him another baby, I think that that really broke Wendy, unfortunately. And I think already having a history with substance abuse, I think that it just made it very easy for her to become dependent on substances to drown out her pain, to drown out all of the different types of loss that she has dealt with, the loss of her mom, the loss of her talk show, the loss of her marriage. So I think that she's been dealing with a lot mentally, and I do feel really bad. But there is something else that I want to share with you all. I do want to introduce you to her guardian, and her name is Sabrina Morrissey. Her publicist is Sean. This is Sabrina Morrissey. Obviously, I'm getting this information from the New York Women's Bar Association on her. Now, it's been reported by People magazine and other sources, of course, that Sabrina Morrissey did try to file a lawsuit. She tried to stop the documentary from coming out. I'm guessing that she does not want a movement like the Free Britney movement to take place. So she does not want us to see how extreme she is with cutting off the son, Kevin Jr.'s access to Wendy Williams' money, and then Wendy Williams totally being cut off from her funds at Wells Fargo. So I'm guessing in order to prevent some sort of Free Wendy movement, that was why Sabrina Morrissey reportedly sued Lifetime's parent company, A&E Television Networks. Obviously, Sabrina has lost the lawsuit because the documentary did air. So now she is an attorney, and it looks like she has her own practice, Morrissey LLP. She specializes in trust and estate law, as well as guardianships and small corporation matters. So she definitely has been practicing. She's saying that she specializes in this, but I do feel like she is very extreme when it comes to the son. Now, she received her Bachelor of Arts in Economics from the University of West Georgia and a Master of Arts from New York University, and she earned her Juris Doctorate from Brooklyn Law School in 1994. So this is the person who has everything on lock. But I want to hear from you all. What did you all think about the documentary? Again, please give me your thoughts on Kevin Jr. being cut off and the lifestyle that he is used to. So with the guardian, I'm not an attorney, so I guess the guardian gets to make that judgment on what she thinks is too expensive or what is reasonable. But it seems like she's not even doing that if Kevin Jr. does not have access to anything. So I want to know your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I ask that you please hit the like button on this video, and it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. I hope that you all have a fantastic Monday. It will not be a manic Monday. It is going to be a magnificent Monday. Don't be anxious about it. Just take it like one breath at a time. It's going to be great. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.